Hey, good afternoon. I was reading today a news story about a man whose name is Philip Kahn. He lives in Long Island, New York. Well, lived because he just died a few days ago of the coronavirus. He was 100 years old, literally 100 years old. And about 100 years ago, this very time that he died, he had a twin brother who was just a few months old, who died of the Spanish flu, another epidemic or pandemic, whichever it was at the time, that killed, I think, like almost 700,000 people in the United States, I believe it is. But his twin brother died at just a few months old of a virus that spread. And then at 100 years old, Philip succumbs to it as well. And the grandson of this man said that his father always really kind of suffered in life, knowing that he had a twin brother that didn't make it and always wished that his brother would have survived. Um, and that brings up the mystery of life. For some, it's short, for some, it's long. For some people's lives, it's full of trouble and heartache and suffering that's not even of their own doings, and other people seem to have it kind of smooth and easy. Some people struggle with the basic necessities throughout their lives, and other people, they eat off of silver platters. Um, it doesn't seem like there's a rhyme or reason to it. It's just kind of the way it is. Um, God is all loving and all powerful, no doubt about that. But yet, God takes his hands off of things that happen in this world that, some people's lives are not equal, and he takes his hands off of that and he kind of lets things take its natural direction, however that looks. And we don't understand that. I mean, we get to heaven, that's one of the things we'll understand. But I was thinking about this story today, and it reminded me of a couple passages, or a couple verses from a passage that I used in a sermon a couple weeks ago. The passage is in Romans chapter 9 and verses 21 and 22. Actually, 20 and 21. I read it here. It says, "But who are you, O man, to answer back to God? Will what is molded say to its molder, 'Why have you made me like this?' Has the potter no right over the clay to make out of the same lump one vessel for honorable use and another for dishonorable use?" You've got the potter who has two lumps of clay. They're totally identical in clay form. But out of one of them, he makes an ashtray. And out of the other one, he makes a water pitcher. Which one of those two instruments are going to be used for more honor? The ashtray or the water pitcher? Well, the ashtray is soon going to get really nasty looking, and the water pitcher is going to be something that brings refreshment to people. And not that our lives resemble ashtrays or water pitchers, but God somehow has a purpose and a plan for every life He brings out of the circumstances that we have around us. And I think our job as people is to figure out, what are God's purposes for me? And if we understand that God has some purposes for us that are larger than being an ashtray, then we're going to go after that, and we're going to seek God and let Him be that potter that molds us into something that can bring refreshment and great joy to people. So I think we can do that, and we can ask God to do great things with our lives. Sometimes we are dealt with circumstances that go against us, and we run with that as well. We take what's been given to us and we see how we can run the race well, even though maybe it doesn't seem fair because somebody else has something better or different than what we have. Anyway, I'm getting really philosophical here and trying to mix it with theology and current events, but I'm just thinking out loud today, and I hope that you can do some thinking with me as we try to wrestle through these things and try to make sense of it. Well, we're hitting almost the 5-minute mark here, so I'm going to sign off. And it was good talking to you today on this rainy, cloudy Thursday afternoon. Have a good one. Bye.